Hi friends, here's Estelle, coach trainer. I wanted to talk about today about my own transitioning journey, and I know that I've been talking about it in many different ways and throughout the last year as well. So for anyone who's new to listening to me and who hasn't heard about me up to now, this may sound like something totally new and different that you might be thinking it's like pieces of it. So therefore, you may be wanting to catch up on the previous pieces. So today, the reason I wanted to talk about my story of transitioning and looking at it from different perspectives is because I was focusing so much on transitioning topic this week and this month. In the context of humanitarians, be it from humanitarian to non-humanitarian sector and vice versa. And if you haven't been able to join the events that are coming up, you definitely should do that. One event is coming up tomorrow, or rather, when you'll hear the publishing of this podcast, it will be today, 21st of January, where I will be doing a webinar on how to prepare yourself for transitioning. Another event that's coming up on 27th of January is networking with other humanitarians on transitioning. And I also created a Facebook community where we will be talking about sharing experiences of transitioning and how to make transitioning less painful, less dreadful, and more like a process that we can all go through. So these are the events that are coming up. So if you are new to my podcast, you haven't heard about it, definitely join that email list. So you let me know by reaching out to social media, and I will be glad to put you into the list. Okay. So the story that I want to tell of my own transitioning, and the reason why I wanted to highlight from my own story is because I think oftentimes whenever I talk about transitioning, people start thinking about how my transitioning from being an employee to owning my own business, or being in one location to another. In other words, I think people often think about transitioning more in terms of circumstantial aspects, like being in one position and going to the next one, or being in one location going to the next one. However, I cannot stress enough how important it is to actually look at the mindset of it, mindset shift, transitioning in mind before doing anything else. And that's the one that I want to be talking about during the webinar as well. But here, what I wanted to talk about is that if I hadn't done that mindset shift of transitioning in my own head, from one state of mind to another, from one mindset to another, I don't think I would be able to do the transitioning in vocation, transitioning from one position to another. So before even me deciding to resign from my previous job, before even me trying to decide what else to do, I needed to clear up a lot of my own problems that were going on. And I did not want to leave and resign my job because I hated it, or resign it because I couldn't stand it and it was an avoidance strategy. Right. So that's, I think, important that for anyone who's considering transitioning, it's so important to consider why and what are the reasons you want to leave, and whatever the reason are, you may want to clear out first before leaving it. Because as I said many times in the past, that I had resigned from my previous employer before as well, and then I returned after 4 months. And the reason for that was simply because when I resigned back then, it was 2013, I think. When I resigned, I left my job thinking, my God, I can't do this anymore. I'm not doing well. I'm having all these troubles and drama and everything else. So I just want to avoid and do something else, low profile or something that is not demanding of me. And then once I do that, I will just be better off. So I just go for that, right? So I'm saying that transitioning has to start all in our head, and somehow I think we know that. But what I am saying is that whatever we're starting in our head, let's finish it first and bring it to a point where our minds are clear and our minds are not in this turmoil of trying to figure things out while trying to get away from whatever we're not liking, and then all of this jumbled together, and then going and trying something new, we will just be overwhelmed, we'll just not be liking what we're doing, and then we'll just get into the situation of, oh my god, I thought it would be better, it's not, what am I going to do? And then we just go into, so from one drama and difficulty and overwhelm to the next one without really completing and finishing it. So that's why I think what was very helpful for me to have the coaching, to have my coaches and work on my own mindset of how to stop being overwhelmed the whole time, how to manage my time well, how to balance my own work well, how to not react, but rather actually plan it out and doing things intentionally and not always trying to react and respond to this and respond to that kind of an energy, right? So I needed to yeah, clear out and also like settle in my own head as to, I don't want to be doing this work only out of fear, or only out of overwhelm, only out of reacting to things, and only out of, I have to do this and I have no other choice kind of a thing. But I wanted to transition in my own head while having my employee job back then, before even resigning, before even deciding to go for a transition. I needed to transition in my own head from being that person who always reacts, who always feels like dependent on other people, or who always feels like overwhelmed, to shifting my mindset to being the professional who knows how to manage her job, who knows how to manage and balance her life and work, who knows how to manage and not let herself overwhelm, but rather clear up the reasons why she feels overwhelmed, right? So I wanted to do that and clear out my head and bring myself to that state of mind where I'm already calm and unattached and not graspy and reactionary, but rather living out of my energy of, I'm in charge, I'm responsible, I'm taking responsibility for my actions, and I am responsible for creating my own results. And how can I now think about, so once I have calmed down my brain and my heart and my body, and then I have now the balanced life where I didn't need to react to things all the time, or to be putting out putting out light fires, right? Putting out fires all of the time. Once I have stopped doing that, and then started recognizing my own power, recognizing my own abilities and uniqueness and inner wisdom to guide me to what I want now deeply. When I have come to that state, then I have started asking myself a question of, okay, what do I want to do? How do I see myself in the next 10 years, right? What is it that I want to be doing in the next year? By the time I'm 46 or 45, at the time I was thinking, by the time I'm 45, how do I want to live my life? How do I see myself living my life? What needs to happen in order to do that? And once I have that questions about my own life from the creation perspective, from the design perspective, from the visionary perspective, of feeling like I'm sufficient, feeling like I'm enough, whether I stay in this job or whether I go to do something else. Once I had that, once I have created that choice for myself, then I had better ways to imagine what I wanted to do, better ways to go through the difficulties I could think of, because I was already feeling like I can go through whatever comes up in the way of achieving my goals, right? I can face any challenge that I can come out that will come on my way, because I have put myself in the energy of I can do this. I have started learning how to trust myself to go through that. And I think it wouldn't be possible any other way. So if I started my transition journey from the place of I'm having all these problems with my current job, or I'm having my problems with my current job, if I had in that energy and then starting to do something new and then adding to my current state of problems, adding the new experiences and being overwhelmed with that, and then going through that and having difficulty going through that, then I don't think I will be able to go through the new experience, because I haven't cleared out what the current mess I was in, right? So that's why I really wanted to use this video and this podcast to just remind to all of us who are, not necessarily in the humanitarian world. Maybe you are in a different sector. It doesn't matter. In the end of the day, what matters is whenever you are thinking of transitioning, whenever you're thinking of changing things, before changing, always think about what is the current state that you are in that is making you consider changes, and then whatever the reasons you can think of why you want to change, start clearing things up and start processing through and working through those problems or challenges that you're facing before even embarking to the new journey. Of course, unless you are forced to transition, which is a different story, right? For instance, if you're fired or if you have other urgent reasons for transitioning, then of course you may not have time. But if you have time to transition, or if you are thinking of transitioning because you don't want to be dealing with the current challenges you have in your life and you want to start something new, you might be just adding to your current issues something new as well. And then once you have both, then trying to transition is going to be a lot more difficult. And not only that, but once you transition to a new place, it is likely that those type of problems will occur in different versions with different people, but it will be the same. So that's why I just wanted to give a story of my client who has gone through that as well, that she was having a lot of trouble with her boss, and she decided that if she changes the place and location, then things will be different, and there will be no such people, so therefore it will be easier for her to work and everything else, right? But once she went to a new place, there were other people, maybe not similar character, but other character, but also that she was having problems with them. And then eventually she needed to face those challenges and work out how to go through that, how to resolve and how to process and how to find ways to work with these people, or find ways to deal with her own emotions, and find ways to report challenges that she was having if it was necessary to report, right? So she needed to do that anyway, and it was even within 1 year time period. So you can see that we cannot avoid our way out of the challenges in the way. And whatever that we're having challenges now, if we try to avoid it by transitioning, we might be just adding more challenges to our own current pile of challenges, and then it will be more difficult to get through the new transitioning that we want. Or we may encounter other similar challenges once we get to the transition, after the transitioning, and then we will be dealing with those as well. So it will feel like we don't have a break, but rather we have to solve one challenge and another challenge and just go that way. So that's why, to sum up, I just want to encourage whoever is considering transitioning, like physically a location or a job, whatever the transitioning in the circumstantial sense that you're thinking of, before doing it, think about in your own mind, how are you transitioning now? How prepared are you now? How is your mindset about transitioning now? And if it's heavy, and if it's thinking that, oh my God, I have all these problems and now I want to transition away and change all of this in the hope that all of my challenges will go away. Think about it, that what if that's not the case? So what if you need to learn how to deal with those challenges now, find ways to deal with them, report about them if necessary. So whatever it is, that as soon as you have your solution-oriented hat and start tackling with those challenges and strategizing for yourself how to deal with them, as long as you do that, then you have created yourself the choice of, now you know how to deal with challenges. Now you can decide whether to stay or go. You have the choice of either or, and you already have developed for yourself this freedom to say, okay, I could also stay here, but I could also go. And then once you have that freedom, then you will not make the transition sound like a very loaded thing that will rescue you from somewhere, but rather it's a choice that you can take if you wanted to, or you can also stay where you are and continue working on the thing that you're working. So the summary of this is that always find a way to create for yourself a choice of whether to stay or go, and then decide what to do rather than I have to, and then forcing yourself to go through that from the mindset of while being attached to your current job, but at the same time trying to get away from it, and then add the transition and go through that, thinking that that's what you have to do. And then once you go through that, there will be other challenges, and then you will start thinking again, oh, I have to do something, or I have to again go away and do something else, right? So that's why don't put yourself in the situation of have to, or in other words, in the situation of fear, but rather put yourself in the situation of acting from your inner freedom to say, I have a choice of staying or going, but I'm choosing to go, for instance, because I want to grow. Or you can also say, I want to stay because I know how to deal with those challenges, and I have developed all of my strategies. I have worked on myself, and I know how to do that. I trust myself. I know what I'm capable of, and I can do amazing things here, or I can grow amazingly here, or I can also decide to go and grow somewhere else. Okay. So this is the experience that I have, and also this is the experience I'm seeing from some of my clients, and I wanted to just summarize the highlights of those experience for you to take with you. And if anything you take from this podcast is try to always learn from your inner wisdom as to how you can create that choice, how you can create that, how you can rely on that inner freedom to say, you can stay where you are, you can go, and you choose whichever you like. Okay, my dears, have a wonderful weekend, you all, and I will be talking to you next Friday.